The show started obviously back in 2009. I think at the offset, Mike and Polly were kind of like the central figures for GTL. Just for you though, how important was it to be, like shredded when you first started? How often did you work out a week?
Well, it was funny because Mike, all right, I got to be careful with my words. I don't want to say I started GTL, but I kind of started GTL by hating on it
Yes.
because I was like the kind of the opposite end of the Guido spectrum of being muscular and going tanning. Obviously I'm pretty pale and but I did go to the gym though. But these guys were more of like lifters and they like to lift and be like really muscular. I was always into sports. I was always like a basketball player and doing things like that. So, but, like I couldn't escape them. Like it was just our routine was just go to the gym every day, do GTL. And I love the gym as well. So it kind of just started by being our everyday routine because when we're filming like a billion hours and we're not always partying. So we would
Yeah.
just like go to the gym, then we would do our laundry. The tanning thing was always a little icky to me though. I didn't really, I did a spray tan a couple times. I wasn't really, but like Paulie had like a tanning bed in his house. Like these guys were like dedicated to the tan. I could take it or leave it.
I'm gonna say Polly, I think it got so bad he like burnt himself because he had tanned so many times back to back. And
Yep, and he also, I think that was when we came back from Italy,
yes.
and there was like nothing, no, so he like went full throttle back in America, like full tan, and then he burnt his face off, and he would get a spray tan on top of it, like he couldn't be tan enough.
Ugh. And
Crazy.
like as the years went on, the show gets very popular. You guys are thrust into the limelight even more. How hard was it to kind of keep up that image of, having to work out all the time, the pressures of being known for having, tight abs? I know you're someone who struggled when the show went off the air and then came back again. You kind of had your fluctuations in public.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
what's that like?
it was weird because I never really was like in the best shape growing up. I was a little bit chubby and stuff, and I kind of had like a little bit of a glow up right before the show where I
Hmm.
started to learn how to go to the gym. I was like taking creatine and some like weird supplements from the vitamin shop, and
Hmm.
I kind of like became a little bit of I felt good like wearing a tank top. I had like a little pump to me, which is like right in time for the show, which was perfect. But then after that, like, I kept it up as best as possible. Looking back on it, and knowing how hard it is now to lose weight and everything, because like fitness has become such a big part of my life now.
Right.
Looking back on it, I'm like, how the hell did I eat cheesesteaks every night? Did I go on the road and do nightclub appearances and drink every night and all that stuff and still kind of maintain like a decent figure? Like I
Yeah.
kind of like it still kind of was okay. It wasn't like the best like season one, but I guess that was kind of like my younger metabolism still keeping me afloat.
Right.
And then when the show went off the air, I kind of just I stopped all the running around and I tried to do my usual thing where I say, you know what, I'm just going to eat whatever I want in the winter and then diet for a couple months and then, burn it off for the summertime.
Yeah.
And that didn't work anymore, like in my like mid to late 20s.
Hmm.
And that's when I gained weight. I was almost like 200 pounds, which for me is a lot because I'm 5'8", 9,
Yeah.
and I was like 20 something percent body fat. So I looked at myself one day, I was like, whoa, like, this something got to change. And then that was kind of like the evolving for me into the keto Guido, who
Hmm.
started that whole fitness journey.
And how has, your relationship with food, your diet, changed since the 2009 premiere? I know obviously you are keto now. That has to be a huge change.
Yeah, well, so basically what happened was, I really wasn't looking for like a quick diet. I was looking for a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And when I started doing eating keto type of food. This was like way ahead of its time. People looked at me like I was crazy. It's funny if you look at my show, like everything that they make fun of me for, they always end up doing. So like they used to make fun of me for eating dark chocolate. Now Paulie's eating dark chocolate. Everyone has my skin complexion now. Uh, I'm
Trendsetter.
pretty yeah. They make fun. I'm pretty sure in a couple years you're going to see them jump roping and becoming marathon runners. Um, so yeah, so I found that kind of lifestyle, and then I just started like losing weight, just by cutting out all the processed sugar and grains. And I was like, all right, this is working. I'm gonna keep doing this, and I just kept doing it, and my body went through like a crazy transformation, and I wasn't counting calories or anything. I was just eating fatty foods and that was it. So that definitely like changed it. And now I am at a place where like I'm definitely not full-time keto, but that foundation of like high protein, high fat, low carb, low grain, low processed sugar kind of keeps me in like a place where I just like feel healthier, I
Mm,
feel more fit, and I'm glad that I kind of do that. But once I started running, I definitely added. I'm more like paleo now because like I
okay.
kind of just like if I obviously things have honey in it and things have like onions and tomatoes have sugar in them, but I still eat them because
Yeah.
um but keto is definitely like a great diet for someone that needs like an instant kind of shock to their body because they're so used to eating processed sugar and grains all the time.
Mm,
And also the foods are more filling and you don't eat as much. You eat a lot in the meantime, but then you don't eat as much like in the long run because processed carbs are always spiking your insulin and you're kind of in this like battle all the time of being hungry and stuff. So it kind of really taught me just how to have like a better relationship with like processed sugars and grains,
got
and
it.
I kind of keep that with me. But it's tough though. Now I'm at this point where no matter what I do, it all comes down to the calories. I can't just
Hmm.
eat slabs of bacon all day and then
No.
expect to be skinny. Yeah.
And the workouts, like you mentioned, you do jump rope, you marathon running. Is that kind of where the focus of your kind of workout routine is now?
Yeah, I do. I lift almost like every day, but they're pretty light workouts. I don't enjoy lifting and
Okay.
bodybuilding. That's like a whole other sport,
Yeah.
That's where like the food really comes into play there, like your macros and like your high protein and getting like a pound of pot of protein per pound. It's a lot. Um, but I definitely go in there because I want to like just keep my muscles and I feel good doing it. But I moved to New York City and I live right near the West Side Highway, so like
Mm,
I'm constantly just running and like that became like a good outlet for me for my mental, for my physical, and then that turned into doing races and like I need that kind of motivation to keep going. Like I'm about to run a half marathon in like a week in Brooklyn,
oh, nice.
and I've been training for it. So that training has like there was a reason for me to be outside running 13 miles. Like otherwise, I normally probably wouldn't do that.
Mm,
So that's why I really love the running community. It gives you like these like little mini goals throughout your life to stay in shape.
mm. And now moving over to the tanning aspect, I know you mentioned it wasn't really your bag.
Yeah.
How do you think the rest of the cast's relationship with the tanning bed has evolved since 2009, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everyone is kind of looking like more like me nowadays. But it's just weird. Like our culture growing up in like the tri-state area, like back in the 2000s and stuff, like you had to be tan. Everybody there was a tanning on Staten Island. There was a tanning salon in every corner,
Hmm.
and everybody looks better with a tan. Everyone, I still love feel. I just do it naturally. Like I want to just be outside, like on a beach, and or when I'm running outside, like get a tan that way.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's that, but at the same time, I guess, people. realized maybe it's not the healthiest thing to just be
Yeah.
like sitting in a tanning bed all day, and they kind of stopped it. But everyone, people still get their spray tans, and they now it's like red light therapy, and just like
Oh yeah, I have my
everyone.
mask.
What'd you say?
I
Oh,
said I have
the
my
mask.
mask.
I thought you were gonna say, did you talk to Mike yet? Because this conversation with him is probably very interesting.
Very different. I
Yeah, yeah,
haven't
yeah.
yet.
Oh, wait till you're gonna. That guy has a routine.
Oh, I'm sure he always has.
Yeah.
And then over to the laundry, which is, fashion style. Just when you look back at old photos of you from season one, do you have any like fashion or personal grooming kind of regrets or things where you're just like, oh wow, that was a choice?
Well, it's funny because like there was an era of time. I mean, Jersey Shore has been on for like 15 years, so
Yeah.
there has been an era of time where we looked back at the fashion choices and we were like, "Ew, what were we wearing? I can't believe we looked like that." Now, looking back at it, we went through it all came full circle again,
Yeah.
and people like that style again.
Right.
So that like nostalgic 2000s style came back, especially if you look now like on the old like digital camera looking lenses, like people love that now. Like kids try to look like that because they got so used to like everything in 4K and everything so like neat and everything. Um, like I remember I was when we went through our skinny jean phase, I would look back and be like, "Oh my God, your pants are so baggy." Now I wear baggy pants again. So it just like the style kind of like came back. There probably are some choices I wouldn't have made again. I always say this, my shorts were always humongous. Like I would just like not understand the concept of like not even short shorts, but just like regular size shorts. My shit would be down to like my ankles. And you know what's funny? I bet you that's gonna come back soon too. So, you never
Probably, right? Those
know.
oversized cargo shorts.
Yes, yes, yes.
And who do you think, looking back, had the biggest transformation style-wise from then to now?
Um, I would have to probably say like Paulie's the same, Mike Sim, probably like I would say like a Dina maybe
Mhm.
because when you just looked back at her, the original Dina, she was like a tan Guidette, curly hair, bright colors. And now they dress like the Mormon wives, they're like pilgrims. They're like just like housewives and they're plain Jane and but they have a little bit of flair to them. But yeah, I would say like Dina or someone like that.
And how do you think your kind of personal style has changed over time? Did the show taking off, having more money have an effect? Did you ever work with a personal stylist, anything like that?
So I've been like a kind of like a definitely a late bloomer on my style. I think that a lot of that has to depend on, it's gonna sound weird, but like obviously how dialed in you are with like the fashion, the fashion styles that are currently happening. But
Hmm.
me I live in Soho, New York now,
Okay.
and I have like all the best stores around me, and I started to be like, oh, okay, like this is what like fashion is. I grew up in Staten Island. I used to just when I wanted something new to wear, I'd go to Foot Locker or
Right.
Macy's
Whatever was
and
at the
that was
mall.
just whatever's at the mall. But now I'm like, I got like every brand has like a boutique store over here. I have like Kith down the street, and it's like each one is trying to like outcompete each other with like what they wear. So I'm very I really like my style now, and I feel like comfortable with it, and I feel like I'm a little bit, so yeah, my style definitely has a curve, but it probably wouldn't have evolved like this if I didn't move to the city.
Right. Oh, sure.
Mhm.
And you mentioned just how everything is cyclical. People are looking at the show as nostalgia. How does it feel to kind of be labeled as nostalgia now that the show has been around so long that
That
people look at
part,
it differently?
yeah, that part stings a little bit. Like, not that they do that. I don't really hear them. say it's nostalgic. I kind of see a picture and I look back at the picture like I'm looking at a picture of the Titanic or something. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, like that looks like a vintage photo. And it's not even that long ago. It's like, I don't know, 12 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. But
But like
everything looks different.
everything looks different because the way that technology and everything has evolved. So it's
Mhm.
like those used to be just like regular photos to me, and now they just look like frozen in time from a different era. So that part kind of makes me feel like the time has gone by a little bit.
And just lastly, what do you think the future of GTL looks like? Obviously, we know what it was then, we know where you guys are now. How do you think it will continue to evolve?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that all of us, well, most of us, like love our fitness and health, and I think that we're gonna go and do it like forever. It always made most of us like Dina doesn't really like to work out, but Nicole, like Jenny, and I don't know if Sammy works out, but everybody kind of like needed that foundation layer of fitness to just feel like a human being and go conquer the day. Like
Mm,
that's like one trait that like a lot of us always had. And I still think that we all have that to this day. And everyone is always going to be going to the gym. I don't know what, our body types and stuff are going to look like as we get older,
yep.
but that's definitely going to be included. Like no one has turned into like Marlon Brando and we're just like fuck it, we're just gonna let it all go, and and be like that. I mean, I love food, so I mean that might be me one day, but for now, I think that we all kind of just like keep it together, and obviously being like on TV and all that motivates you as well too,
Right.
because you're like always doing photo shoots and events and TV shows. So we all have naturally had like a good balance of that.